Hey guys, Al here. So I want to talk about top food plot mistakes. Obviously, we're getting close here. It is July the 17th to fall planting in much of the Midwest. So I wanted to talk about some things that I see that are common mistakes. Number one, disking to disc or tilling to till and leaving things fallowed. That is really setting yourself up. For one, you're consuming your organic matter by putting oxygen into the system, which is going to increase your microbial activity, which is going to break down organic matter. So if you're going to disc or till, I would highly recommend doing it at the time of planting. So disc, plant, pack it down, but don't just disc to disc. There are very few times where I would think, if any, off the top of my head, where that makes sense, especially in a food plot type setting. Number two, and these are in no particular order, just some things that came to mind. Not doing a soil test, just kind of blindly going in, hey, I'm going to grow XYZ crop, brassicas, let's say, it needs nitrogen, so we're going to put nitrogen down. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that might be beneficial to get you 1 year, but what you might find is if you build up too much nitrogen, put too much nitrogen on, you might have a lot of weed competition as well. Just for one quick example, obviously phosphorus runoff, nitrogen runoff, things of that nature are also risks to the environment around you. Broadcasting nutrients on top. So this is another one. You take a soil test, but there's not a great understanding of how nutrients move through your soil profile. So maybe your pH isn't right, but you're throwing down fertilizer, which is already going to reduce its uptake. Or maybe you're not, you're in a no-till system and you're just broadcasting phosphorus on top on a very heavy CEC soil, let's say. You're really not, that's a generational play. You're not going to get much out of that. It doesn't really move in the soil. So you'd be better off either trying to get it in furrow, using a product like our seed feed product that puts the nutrients right on the seed just a little bit to try to get that seedling off to a good start, or maybe using some foliar applications in order to try to move the products through there, and or organic options, which are going to get moved through the soil through biology, like earthworms. So don't just broadcast nutrients blindly on top. Some nutrients you can and some you can't, and really understanding that from a good soil test will help you get most out of your dollar and spend. No exclusion fences. This is probably my favorite one to talk about. I've done several videos on this, but I cannot preach this enough. No exclusion fences. This is so hypercritical, guys, to understand the amount of browse that is or is not leaving the field. And then, of course, from there, we can adjust up, down, sideways our seeding rates. And some fields are different. I have lower fertility fields that I use a higher seed rate on because it's a brand new, relatively speaking, field. It has some compaction from a dozer. It's proximity to deer bedding. I'm going to probably seed that a little bit higher or at a higher rate than those fields that have been established for a long time, have been in our Vitalize 1-2 system, have a high level of organic matter, and I can get a lot out of that system quickly just by no-tilling it in there. So in the other fields that are lower fertility, I'm still going to no-till it in there, but I'm going to use a little bit higher rate of seed. So that's just one example, and the exclusion fence can tell us so much about that. So keep that in mind. And the last item I'll talk about in this video is just looking for a quick fix. Whether you're using the Vitalize seed system or something else, food plots and even full-scale farmers, they're always learning, they're always developing, they're always tweaking their program, and food plotting is no different. Gardening is no different. You always want to be taking tests. We want to try to control the variables that we can control, right? And that's where exclusion fences, good soil test practicing comes into play. And just going in and thinking, I'm going to plant something because that's going to get me a big buck, that's typically not how it works. You want to get yourself set up with a system and a plan for your property or for your farm that's not only going to help you to feed deer, but also if your goal is to hunt, then you want to make sure that that lines up. And oftentimes that's not a quick fix. It's going to take multiple times. You're going to keep working on all your habitat from TSI to food plots to soil, and you're going to keep working. So don't get discouraged, guys. We can't control Mother Nature, but just keep your head down. Keep following, 6 soil health principles. But if you're a Vitalize Seed customer, we sure appreciate you. Stick with the 1-2 system. Keep after it. Contact us for help. And certainly, you'll start to see results like some of our friends have, like Neil Hogger. Shout out to Neil, who has some absolutely beautiful food plots this year. And it's been a long time coming as he's been working his way to get the soil better and better. Thank you guys for checking us out. Hopefully that was useful. And check us out at vitalizeseed.com.